Hello students, we shall start with the water softening methods to remove permanent hardness from the water. In the last video or the previous video, we learnt about how the temporary hardness can be removed by boiling or by adding lime to it. So in this video, you'll be learning about the methods of removing permanent hardness, which include lime soda process, base exchange process, which is generally called as zeolite process, and reverse osmosis. These can be used for treating both, that is temporary as well as permanent hardness. So let me start with the first process, that is lime soda process. So here uh, it uses lime and soda ash. So when lime and soda ash are added to water, that is hard water, they react with calcium and magnesium salts so as to form insoluble precipitates of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide. And these precipitates can be sedimented out in a sedimentation tank, and that's why they can be like combined with the normal treatment, conventional treatment methods. And these are the reactions wherein the carbonate hardness of calcium and carbonate hardness of magnesium, it reacts with the lime to form calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide, which can be sedimented out. And further you can see here carbonate hardness of magnesium in the form of MgCO3 and magnesium chloride, it reacts with lime to form magnesium hydroxide, so which can be precipitated out. And also non-carbonate hardness of magnesium in the form of magnesium sulfate, it reacts with lime to form magnesium hydroxide. And even the free dissolved carbon dioxide is taken care by lime so that it precipitates out as calcium carbonate. And when soda ash is being added, the non-carbonate hardness of calcium in the form of calcium chloride and calcium sulfate reacts with the soda ash to form calcium carbonate, which can be sedimented out. So this is how the lime soda process works. Now, the sodium salts which are finally formed in the above method are soluble in water and are not objectionable. And also we know that the calcium and magnesium hydroxide forms here, and it gets precipitated and can be sedimented out. But some amount of it or little quantity of it remains in the water, which may lead to incrustation in filter media. That is, it may lead to the increase in the size of the sand grains, and it may lead to incrustation. That is when further the water is being sent to the filtration process. And hence, to prevent this, what has to be done is recarbonation is being done. By doing this recarbonation, I'll tell you what is recarbonation, but by doing this recarbonation, what happens, the water again gains some of its hardness, and this will not hamper the limits. I mean, it will be well within the limits, but it is desired, and hence recarbonation has to be done. What has been done in recarbonation is that carbon dioxide gas is passed through the water, and the insoluble carbonates combine with the carbon dioxide to again form soluble bicarbonates. These soluble bicarbonates will be well within the limit, and hence it is permissible, and hence recarbonation has to be done to take care of the incrustation in the filter media. And also the amount of lime and soda required for the softening, it depends on the quality of the water, that is to what extent the water is hard, and also to what extent the hardness has to be removed. Now, what are the advantages of this method then? Now, it can be easily combined with usual water treatment methods. That's what I told you. In the settling tank, we can take care of this. That is, the hardness can be taken care by adding lime and soda while the water is being treated for turbidity. And also, when this process is used, less amount of coagulant is required. If it is sedimentation being done using coagulation, then the amount of coagulant that is to be added will be reduced. And as it increases the pH of water, it reduces the corrosion of the distribution pipes. This is also one of the advantages. And one more thing is, due to the increase in the causticity caused It may also sometimes help in disinfecting the water, that is by killing pathogenic bacteria. It also helps in removing iron and manganese to a certain extent, but helps in reducing the total mineral content of the water. Disadvantages are a large quantity of sludge is being found. This is one of the significant disadvantage, wherein it has to be disposed of. Either it has to be discharged into sewers, or it may be used for raising the low-lying areas. Disposing of sludge is a big headache here. And then careful operation and skilled supervision is required in order to get good results. That is, what quantity of lime and soda has to be added, etc., has to be carefully operated or supervised. An incrustation of pipe walls of the distribution system will also occur if not properly recarbonated. This has to be taken care, otherwise it leads to several problems. This process cannot help in producing water with zero hardness. Yeah, because again we are recarbonating it, leading to the formation of insoluble bicarbonates, and hence the zero hardness water cannot be obtained here, and it can remove the hardness only up to about 50 mg per liter. Okay, moving to the next process, that is zeolite process, or which is also known as base exchange process. Here zeolites, these are nothing but the natural or synthetic cation or base exchange hydrated silicates of sodium and aluminum. So the general formula goes like this, that is Na2O, Al2O3, X, SiO2, Y, H2O. The usual value of X is 2 or more, and that of Y of ranging amounts. So what happens here? These zeolites, they have the excellent property of exchanging their cations, and hence the name base exchange process. And during softening operation, what happens is the sodium ions of the zeolite, when it reacts with the hardness present in the water, that is calcium and magnesium hardness, which can be present in the form of bicarbonate, sulfates or chlorides of calcium and magnesium. It reacts with the sodium ions of the zeolites, and these get replaced by the calcium and magnesium ions present in the water. That is, zeolite which contains sodium ions gets replaced with calcium and magnesium ions which are present in the hard water, and it gets exhausted. When it gets exhausted, then what has to be done is it has to be regenerated into active sodium zeolite, and that is done by treating it with 5 to 10% solution of sodium chloride. So this is how it is being done. When it gets exhausted, again we need sodium zeolite, that is sodium ions along with the zeolite I want. For that reason, it will be regenerated by treating it with 5 to 10% of sodium chloride. So I'll be getting again the zeolite, that is regenerated zeolite, and further it can be used. Now this zeolite softeners, it usually resembles a sand filter in which the filtering medium is zeolite rather than sand, and raw water enters through the top and is evenly distributed on the entire zeolite bed, and the softened water is collected through the strainers at the base. Here you can see it, wherein you can see the hard water which enters here and it is being applied, and this is nothing but the zeolite bed or the exchange resin, cation exchange resin. From here it gets collected in this water collecting system through the strainers, and then it is filtered out. And you can see this is the arrangement for the brine solution or the brine distribution. Brine is nothing but the sodium chloride for regenerating the zeolite once when it gets exhausted. Okay, so we can see here the zeolite softeners may be either gravity or pressure filter types. Now we have already learnt about the gravity filters or pressure filters, so it can be any one of the types, and the rate of filtration through the zeolite softener is about 300 liters per meter per minute, and this process produces water with zero hardness. Please note this. In case of lime soda process, we cannot produce water with zero hardness, but here we can produce water with zero hardness. and hence only a portion of the water passing through the treatment plant is to be softened and then mixed with unsoftened water to obtain desired hardness. Otherwise, what happens? We'll be getting zero hard water, which is not desirable if it is to be used for the public supplies. And what are the advantages and disadvantages? Advantages are we can get zero hardness water, which are very much essential for some specific industries, and also the plant is compact, automatic and easy to operate. That is, the running maintenance cost, RMO cost, is quite less, and it also removes ferrous iron and manganese from water and no sludge is formed. The formation of sludge is not here, and there is no difficulty in treating water with varying quality, and also no problem of incrustation of pipes of the distribution system as it is in the lime soda process. And the process is not suitable for highly turbid waters. This is the disadvantage, because the suspended impurities cause obstruction to the working of zeolite. Already we have learnt in the working of gravity filters what troubles are being encountered if the water is too much turbid. The same applies here. And the process leaves sodium bicarbonate in water, which causes priming and foaming. This is one of the problem. And the iron and manganese zeolite formed during reactions cannot be regenerated into sodium zeolite and hence gets wasted. Coming to the last method, that is reverse osmosis. This method is more suitable for brackish water, that is salty water. In this process, the water after pre-treatment is forced across a permeable membrane. It is a membrane filtration. And as we know that it is reverse osmosis, the pressure required for passing the water through this membrane, it is very high. It should be greater than the osmotic pressure. And hence the one more name for this process is hyperfiltration. When hard water is fed into this reverse osmosis cells or the modules, part of the water permeates the membrane and is collected as fresh water, while the remainder, which is in the form of brine, is passed through a turbine for recovery of power before it is being rejected. So this is how it is done. The brackish water undergoes preliminary treatment, that is screening, filtration and other pre-treatment, which may be the sedimentation, etc. And then with the use of high pressure pump, it is passed into these reverse osmosis units which contains membranes in it, and the product water, that is the water which is being treated, comes out here, and the brine which contains salts in it is recovered and it is sent through turbine, and again it is sent to the filter unit and it is being recycled. But you have to observe here the most that is the water in the form of brine output, lot amount of water is being wasted here when the reverse osmosis has to be done. The semi-permeable membrane used in this process is thin, but it is strong enough and so that it can withstand the high external pressure. And also it is to be noted that it does not work below 60,000 kilonewton per meter square of pressure and is usually operated at about 1 lakh kilonewton per meter square of pressure. And the membrane passes the water molecules with difficulty if the pressure is too high. That is also one of the drawbacks. So that's all about the water softening methods which are being used to remove permanent hardness. Thank you.